Happy Majestic Mondays, fam. We are stepping into one of my favorite themes this month, growth in the gaps. Whew. Those quiet, still, in between moments that we usually resist, but that actually hold some of our deepest transformations. And since September also carries the energy of the Autumn Equinox, we're called to look at balance. Equal light, equal dark, equal time to grow and time to rest. So today's episode is about trusting the process, even when it feels like nothing is happening, and learning to live in balance. We live in a culture that celebrates visible growth, the promotion, the launch, the milestone, instant gratification, right? But the most important growth often happens in silence. The healing that happens after heartbreak, the clarity that comes in solitude, the patience built in waiting seasons. Seeds sprout in darkness before they ever break through the soil. The gap isn't punishment, okay? It's preparation. A time where I felt stuck or unseen in my life was in my career. I did all that I wanted to do. I danced and became a choreographer, and I wanted to have my own dance studio, but instead I got a career in becoming an assistant studio manager, which gave me a lot more understanding of what it takes to run, own, and operate a dance studio. I was short-lived in that because COVID happened, but I realized in that time frame, like, I don't want to own a dance studio. I don't want to have, not to say that much responsibility, but like that's not necessarily what it is that I'm looking for in my life as a career. But I was able to do it. I was able to learn a lot about myself. It humbled me a lot as well and gave me a lot more respect for those who are owning, operating, doing business. Like, kudos. During COVID, after a little bit, I started my own business and learning that rope where it's like there's so many back end things that we don't think about, right? And it's behind closed doors and nobody sees how much money it's going to take to operate this business and how much money it takes to hire somebody and pay somebody. Like, it's a lot of work. And being a small business owner for my own business, I didn't realize how much I'm going to have to work for free, quote unquote. But as time has gone by, I have been really thinking about getting myself in a leadership role. What does that look like? I'm a leader. Management, I've never prospered in by choice. There was times where I could have been a supervisor or a manager in past jobs, but I just never took that because I didn't want the responsibility, if I'm being completely honest. But when I moved out here to Charlotte, I had a plan. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back to Starbucks. I am going to be a supervisor, and then maybe I'll be an assistant store manager, and then maybe I'll be a store manager. I became a supervisor, and I didn't realize what areas of improvement I needed. And when you step into a leadership role, supervisory role, a role where you are completely responsible for other people and how things operate, it changes your whole perspective. Ego is literally slapped, and you start to have to become in this beginner's mindset where you have to learn and unlearn certain things, and it was very eye-opening. However, the job alone as a supervisor at Starbucks can be very stressful, especially with like the high demand and the fast pace. Like, maybe when I was younger, absolutely. However, I'm getting wiser. I'm going to use the word wiser. And I want to have a more realistic and more suitable job for myself. So me stepping down as a supervisor and then becoming a barista again, I was like, okay, well, I don't want to be a barista for the rest of my life. Nothing wrong with it. Like, it's definitely a hobby of mine. Making drinks is definitely something I love to do. And I even have an espresso machine at home. Like, that's how much I love being a barista. However, it's like, okay, well, what do I want to do? I love people pleasing, and I don't want it to be a thing I do in relationships anymore. Let it be a job. How can I people please in a job, right? And hospitality has always been so fulfilling. I've had so many different connections, and with that being said, like, I want to be able to form a community and bond and meet new people. And I got recruited for working for Marriott. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Like, I ask and I'm receiving. So I was able to get into that world. And now I am an event coordinator. So I went from the front desk to a coordinator, but I had a plan. I said, hey, this is what I want to do. Like, I talked to my management. I want to become a leader in whichever way. If I was going to move up in the front desk aspect, I want to be front desk manager, whatever the case may be. However, I got to move into the event side of things, which is also part of what I love to do. Part of my business was hosting body positivity workshops, like hosting events and bringing people together. So in this position alone, like going through all those like different changes really placed me to be able to get to something bigger, something greater for what I'm looking for. And those errors and those like all the drama I also went through as well, like it was preparing me to for something greater. So yes, just keep that in mind. There are moments that we're going to be stuck. There are going to be moments where we feel unseen, unworthy, and it's just everything's just going to be hitting you from left and right. However, sometimes those moments are just not even breaking points. It's breaking you open. It's like, hey, we don't want this anymore. You are breaking away from what no longer serves you and you are moving closer towards alignment. So, this equinox energy, the equinox energy is nature's reminder that life works best in balance, okay? So, equal day and night, right? We have 24 hours, not in a day, but we have 12 hours in a day, 12 hours at night. This is what they say, right? And this is a reminder that we need both energy and rest, both action and stillness. Remember we talked about, discipline and grace and like burnout. Like we don't want to burn out. When we ignore balance, like we burn out and fall stagnant. We don't want to be stagnant. We don't want to burn out. When we embrace it, we thrive. Let's really think about how like balance is important. For me, what's out of balance for me right now is just my sense of community in Charlotte, right? Trying to become more balanced in this environment and how to make it work for me, because I come from a place where there's so much access, there's so much resources, there's so much conveniency, things to do all the time. And then I come to a place where you go to an event and it's going to be hit or miss. Like it's a 50-50 chance it's going to be good or it's going to be bad. And for me, I don't like that, because where I come from, like if you're going to go, it's going to be good. Like it's going to be a time is going to be had. And yes, I get like, okay, you can create the time, you can create the vibe and this and that. Me trying to find balance is like, okay, how can I get out into this new environment and make it my own, right? Like where do I like to be? What do I like and how can I find it within this community? So me balancing, because I'll stay home. Like I'll stay home, which means I am staying home and inside and I'm being an introvert and I am not socializing. However, this weekend alone, took the train. I live right by a train station and I never got to use it. My car is down right now. I'm completely out of balance right now, right? Being able to have access to just drive anywhere I want and can't right now. But I took the train these past few days and exploring Charlotte and just going straight uptown or straight to Noda or go to these places, and I forgot what it's like to just be in public transportation. I really do miss it. I really would love for it to expand and go a lot more places, but Charlotte is up and coming. There's a lot more coming, but for me, like I'm working to restore it by just being more proactive and going to these events. I was talking to my friend about not having expectations. Yes, we can have expectations, but don't expect it to be exactly what you think it's going to be, right? Show up, experience it, and that's it. So I want to take more initiative in being proactive and making sure that I at least go and experience it, right? What are some things that you feel like you need to bring more balance in your own life, right? With that being said, I would like to go over a few affirmations. You guys know how we do, and then we're going to get into some action steps and then our meditation, okay? So repeat after me. I honor unseen growth in my life. I am patient with my process. Balance brings me peace and power. I trust that even in stillness, I am becoming. Please, 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 please repeat these as many as you need. Write them down, put it on a sticky note or slap it on your mirror. You guys know I love saying that. And really hold on to them, really embrace them. A few action steps that you can take this week. I suggest that you do a journal prompt, and I have one for you here. Where am I in the gap? What unseen growth might be forming here? I want you to balance practice. So identify one area where you're doing too much, where your work, caretaking, output, whatever the case may be, and one area where you're not doing enough. So like rest, creativity, self-care. And when you identify that, adjust that this week. So for me, I am not doing enough being outside and going into the community and just exploring Charlotte. One thing I am doing too much is over investing in my relationship and also just working too much. Just going work, home, in relationship. But also being able to go dance. So like that's part of my self-care routine and my creativity. So going to take dance every week now, going on my walks, doing my yoga in the morning, doing those type of things so that I'm not overly invested in just mundane things. Another one is doing an equinox ritual, right? So spending 15 minutes outside in the sunrise or sunset, and then I want you to reflect on balance and alignment, okay? Again, action steps is doing the journal prompt, where am I in the gap? What unseen growth might be forming here? And I want you to balance practice, which is you're going to identify one area of where you're doing too much and one area where you're not doing enough. And then you're going to do your ritual. Spend 15 minutes outside at sunrise or sunset and just reflect on balance and alignment. Right now, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to take a deep breath in and out. On the next inhale, I want you to inhale patience and exhale urgency. Inhale balance. Exhale resistance. Inhale trust. Exhale doubt. Feel yourself rooted like a tree, balanced, steady, and growing, even when the growth isn't yet visible. This week, remember, the gaps are sacred. They are not empty. They are full of invisible growth. Let equinox energy guide you back to balance, okay? Honor your stillness as much as your movement. That's where your strength multiplies. Until then, I'll see you next week.